So I wanted to do this video especially for all of our incredible fans. First off, thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, continue, sharing our channel with your friends, with other enthusiasts. I mean, we truly are doing this for our love of vintage supercars. And we wanted to do a question and answer, but I had to comment on a few very, very funny very funny comments. I think this is probably the best one of all time. The other day I was wearing, it was cold in Miami, and maybe not as cold as the rest of the country, but let's say 55 degrees. So I was wearing a sweater that my wife actually purchased for me that I thought looked cool with black jeans, and apparently not all of our followers liked it. I'm sometimes forced to wear the sweaters my grandmother makes too. That is priceless. Thank you for making my day. I don't consider myself a fashionista by any means, but I do like fashion. I like design. Another great comment, someone mentioned, and this was sort of a back and forth banter. Someone mentioned that it looks like I'm wearing my son's jeans. My son is 16 months, so they would be extremely tight jeans. Ironically, another commenter posted that, no, it actually looks like he's wearing his daughter's jeans. It makes my day. I honestly, I love all of you guys. And even one comment that was sort of priceless. Anybody that knows me and knows my history, or if you've maybe watched some of our videos, knows that for a long time I struggled and I was broke. I mean, literally used, $20 here and there a week to buy McDonald's cheeseburgers that I think at one point were 39 cents and hamburgers that were 29 cents. I've been arrested for writing a bad check. I had a very tough early start of my career. So someone said, yeah, of course it's easy for him. He talks about his career, but he just inherited millions from his dad. Not the case at all. You could look up any public records in Palm Beach County and see just how difficult my early career was. I even owed Ed Bullion a good amount of money at one point, which we will tell that story soon. And look, we're still dear friends to this day. So let's jump into the Q&A. So if you had to drive one vintage supercar daily forever, what would it be and why? I would say there's three cars that really strike this chord for me. It's a 993 Turbo or any Porsche 993. I consider it vintage enough, but a perfect daily. A Lamborghini Diablo, yes, it's pretty impractical, but at the same time, they're great cars. You could drive them. The later cars have power steering. I love those cars. And we recently just had a 550 Maranello on our channel, which I think is a perfect car you could drive all the time. I also love 360 manual cars. 360's timing belt driven, but you don't have to take the engine out to do the timing belts. There's an access panel behind the seats. So I think that's a great car for the value, and they're vintage enough where the AC is okay. It's not like driving a Countach or a 308 where the AC is just good. So I would say those are probably my three favorite. What is your favorite color on a supercar, and what is your favorite color on a Lamborghini? I happen to love black cars. I think they look menacing. They drive me crazy because after you clean them, there's always dust immediately spotted on them. That being said, I do also cherish any unique colors, and cars that color works so well. I think we had a pale green E-Type Jaguar a few years ago, and the car was stunningly original, but that color was a tough sell. It was a unique color. So now I really chase cars that are just fantastic colors that work so well. Certain yellows work great on certain colors. There's no question I'm a huge fan of the Lambo 30, the purple metallic color for a Diablo. I think some Ferraris have to be red and tan. Even though I love Ferraris in odd and unique colors, I think it really depends on the car. Certain cars just wear colors well. If you had to ask me very quickly, I'd say any Testarossa, red tan, the ultimate. Countaches are great in almost any color, in my opinion. I would say same with Miras. Carrera GTs look stunning in yellow and black. Silver cars look great as well, but those are my personal preferences for that car specifically. And I think, listen, vintage Ferraris look incredible in silver, dark metallic green, copper, bronze colors. And the same with Countach, early Countach examples when they're in dark blues. I mean, they just look fantastic. What car do you regret most selling, not buying? I think we've talked about this before on our channel. There's a ton. I would say I missed out on some really great early Countach examples, a couple Miras. I chased a white Diablo SV that bounced around to a few dealers. I missed it by like 30 days every time it went to another dealer, and that would have been a great car. Diablo SVs are very rare. We've recorded about almost 90 cars that were produced for North America, so finding one is difficult. This is a great question. Should I keep my 200-kilometer Aventador SV or change and take an SVJ? What do you believe in future values? Now, I have not driven an SVJ, so I can't tell you enough about SVJs, but I do know that I had a few collectors that loved the more rawness feel of an SV. SVs are a little bit more rare than the SVJ examples. That being said, the SVJ potentially is the last V12 you could call maybe non-hybrid to come out of Lamborghini. So that could be an interesting car. I think, listen, we shouldn't be looking at future values of cars. You should buy what you love and hope that it's not going to lose value. And if it does, so what? You own something you love. Again, I think some of the best collectors and the best collections, guys have always bought what they loved. And I love buying rare cars. I love buying cars that people didn't like for years. Listen, I've been an advocate of vintage Lamborghinis for a long time. I've loved them. They were unloved for many years, and now they're sort of catching traction, and that's exciting to me. But for a while, people laughed at the values or future values of Countaches and Miras. Let's see, what's another one? The future value of Jalpas. Maybe if there's a time, also talk about the type of maintenance required. Jalpas, the biggest problem with Jalpas, I would say, are parts. They're very limited production. So you're talking about a couple hundred cars that are in the world. I believe it's 410 or 411. I always forget. And I think they're incredible cars for the value. They're rare. They look incredible in person. They sound great. It's like a beefy 308 or 328. But the reality is parts are very hard to find. So you could spend weeks or months trying to find replacement parts. I think eventually they'll double in value where they are currently today. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think, listen, it's just a reality. Getting a phone call, excuse me. I think it's just the reality of the market. I look at Jalpas as the future Dino for Lamborghini. And there's a ton of collectors. Listen, they were iconic because of the Rocky, I think it was Rocky 5, drove a Jalpa. And every time I see a Jalpa or I display a Jalpa, someone mentions Rocky. So they have their place in the world and they're part of Lamborghini history. What did you do for school? Don't know where I'll end up. Hopefully an automotive story. Okay, so I actually went to a public school and eventually became a classically trained pianist. So I actually went to an art school for communications. I realized that I was not a world-class piano player. I was very good. I went to state tournaments but I got my butt kicked in one of the tournaments by a girl by the name of Wendy Guay. Wherever you are today, Wendy, and she made me realize that I wasn't at the level to go to like a Juilliard or one of those schools. So I always wanted to focus since a young age and be the best at whatever I could find, or try to be the best. I'm not saying I'm the best at what I do today, but we're definitely trying, and the goal of Curate is constantly be growing. I did not want anything to do with cars for a while. I wanted to step away from the family business. As you know, my father was a mechanic. I didn't want to be a mechanic. I wanted to find my own way. I realized at a young age that sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. While I went out on my own and I started promoting car events, I had so much knowledge that I needed to use. That was very valuable. I never went to a major college, so I look at my career working for my dad as going to one of the best schools in the world and is learning as much as I could. So definitely wasn't always focused on the car world, but definitely communications and marketing. What are your thoughts on Ferrari F430? I think they're bulletproof cars. I love Ferrari F430s. The F1 cars have held their value. If not, they've actually gone up a little bit. And as you can see, 6-speeds have exploded. I think we sold 2 6-speed manual 430s, a Spider and a Coupe last year or the year before for around 200,000. I think those cars would be worth 250, 260, maybe 300,000 today. My business partner was supposed to buy one of those cars. He fucked up, obviously, because almost a double in value if you look at values on those cars today. So I love those cars. They're bulletproof. They're great. And they're chain driven as well, so you don't have to pull the engine to do timing belt service. EB110 SS or Diablo GT. Listen, it's hard to compare those two cars. The EB110 SS is the ultimate for Bugatti, and there's only 33 or 34 produced for the world. And they're 2 million euros today, plus. A Diablo GT is probably less than $1 million. I'm a Diablo guy. I hate to say it, but you know that's an easy question if you know me. It's a Diablo GT.